When talking about Scotland, well, I'll remember to bagpipes and the ten belows. But Scotland is also known for its legend shot as a Loch Ness monster. Another Scottish feature is that in the past they were divided into clans.
The culture of using kilts began in the 18th century with reference to elements of English and Irish culture. The use of kilts serves to reinforce their national identity and can be used on several occasions, such as parties, fashion events, and sport games. Another purpose is the identification of clans. Which clan has its specific color in the fabric pledge?
Different types of whiskey, but as we are reflecting on Scotland, we will speak only of Scottish whiskey. There are 5 different whiskey production areas in Scotland. The minimum maturation time for whiskey in barrels is 3 years. The longer the whiskey spends in the barrel, the better it gets. We usually find whiskies in versions ranging from the minimum 3 years of maturation to 30 years of resting cask.
The COVID-19 pandemic was first confirmed to have spread to Scotland on March 2020 with the positive COVID-19 test of a male Tayside resident who had recently travelled between Scotland and North Italy. First confirmed death of a patient in Scotland with COVID-19 on 30 March 2020.
Based on these events, the Scottish Government adopted measures, especially the main ones, according the following schedules.
In March 2020, the First Minister of Scotland emphasised the need for every citizen to reduce all non-essential social contacts. 19 March 2020, the Scottish Government announced of schools and nurseries by the end of the week. 20 March 2020, all bars, restaurants, gyms, and other social venues across the country are closed. 23 March 2020, First Minister of Scotland announced measures that corresponds to the lockdown. 24 March 2020, first day of lockdown. 27 March 2020, Scottish government published rules on staying at home and away from others, social distancing. These measures are required by law using powers from the UK coronavirus bill.
March 2020, Scottish Government issues guidance on the closure of daycare services for children. 23 April 2020, lockdown slowdown. 28 May 2020, first transition phase for closing the lockdown. 18 June 2020, second transition phase for closing the lockdown. 9 July 2020, 30 transition phase for closing the lockdown. 13 July 2020, opening of small and micro business. 16 July 2020, opening schools and use of school
The
transport.
local currency is the pound sterling. The country stands out for its production, agriculture and textile. The care industry, sheep and pigs, is responsible for up to 40% productions in the country. The contribution for GDP is 6.5%. The cultivation of cereals and potatoes in the main. fishing is important on the islands. The main industries are chemicals, engineers, instruments, and electronics, and tourism, ground, and whiskey productions.
Scotland is a country that's a part of the United Kingdom, remaining the north part of the British Isles and making some islands around it too. It's a very giant where it's a whole the so-called highlanders where the mountains and the mountains are present, and lowlanders where it's a keep a good part of the plains and cities, being by far the most lively part of Scotland for historical reactions. The plains favorite the plantations that supply the cities and consequently increase the population of the lowlanders. The climate is temperate.
Scotland is a part of the United Kingdom some 300 years ago, with untroubled annexation. Scotland provided several revolts against the English, like their Jacobite Revolution. But in the 20th century it outcried political freedom, choosing to continue in the United Kingdom in the World Wars.